Right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, I honestly didn't think I would ever have to be talking about this ever again, but well, here it is. So, about 5 months ago, accusations surrounding popular VTuber Sinder immediately started coming out left, right, and center. And a large amount of a lot of the criticisms were coming about as a result of about harassment that Cinder and her boyfriend caused towards noticeable VTubers like Spite, Bow the Whale, and Shy Lily, just to name a few who were certainly affected. And what seemed to follow was a long campaign of harassment, bullying, backstabbing, and malicious intent that Cinder and her boyfriend were causing. As a result, a lot of companies immediately dropped Cinder from syndication, and from that point onwards, Cinder kind of faded a little bit into obscurity until now because apparently she's come back. And from what I've understood, is that apparently she published a 1,000 word page document about possibly trying to say sorry. I don't know yet, but the fact that it's written out and it's not actually, I think it would have done Syndra the world of good to save what little reputation she had left if she actually spoke on camera. She did sort of an apology, well, did an apology, not some sort of an apology, but do it in such a way that actually we can hear her for, and we can absolutely get her side of the story, raw and unedited. This, however, and because it has taken such a long time, and it gives me the impression that Cinder kind of needed to step away and possibly think about exactly what she was going to say, because it's only good for business. And I don't think she'll be hearing the end of it anytime soon. But with that being said, let's just see exactly what Cinder has had to say for herself. Hi everyone. It's been over 5 months since everything happened. I have never been good with words. Great start. And I'm especially bad at verbalizing my feelings. I've always hid my insecurities, and it's hard for me to open up about things, even to the people closest to me. It was nearly 2 a.m. for me on April the 26th when Nanolus and Bao posted their documents together, after I had finished streaming earlier in the night. I was awake for almost 48 hours by the time I posted my apology. Looking back at it, no, it wasn't good. I was not in a sound state of mind when it was written. I was blindsided by any of this coming out and the accusations made against me. No one involved tried contacting me privately beforehand. I was unable to eat, sleep, or do anything else but watch more documents and statements be released while everything fell apart. I didn't have Red, I didn't have my friends, but I had the weight of the entire internet waiting to see what I was going to say, and how I was going to say it wrong. I didn't have access to search for all the evidence to defend myself with the growing list of allegations, and I didn't have time to put it all together cohesively, anyways. I was petrified. How could I possibly respond correctly to a coordinated effort like this in the state I was in without just blindly accepting fault for all the things I didn't do or never knew happened? I rushed to get something out, defend myself the best I could in the heat of the moment, and post it just so I could rest. No matter what I would end up saying, it would never have been good enough. It took me a long time to mentally recover and have the ability to face any of this again. I couldn't look at anything Cinder related without breaking down. All of my fans that looked me up to me were led to believe I was evil and encouraged to destroy or donate my merch. Almost everyone I knew or cared about turned on me in an instant, and anyone who's ever had anything to say about me did. I had only one of my close friends message me after everything was out there. I received rap, docs, and death threats over these accusations. So I stepped away from the internet. I reconnected with Red and we worked things out between ourselves when we were both ready to. He helped me with the long process of making this document, I didn't say almost anything else to anyone sooner, privately or publicly, because no one would believe me until I had absolutely everything put together to post all at once in one place. The purpose of this document: to present the full story and the facts and evidence around what happened with complete transparency, defend myself against what's been said about me, and provide mine and Red's perspectives and motivations about each situation. It wasn't my choice to make this public, but since it is, my side of the story matters too. 2. To take accountability for everything that each of us are guilty of in the past couple years, whether they were revealed in the original documents or not. This document will not absolve either of us of all wrongdoing, and it isn't trying to. 3. Dispel rumors, misconceptions, and theories about me. Show how and why things accurately occurred, and point out and refute discrepancies and lies in the claims or statements made against me. We've done things wrong, but the amount and degree of them has been incredibly exaggerated or completely made up. 4. This document contains speculation, baseless accusation. Baseless accusations were made against me without evidence, so I've kept speculation labeled as such in this document. Most of it is supported by circumstantial evidence, but it should not be treated as solid fact. 5. This document is not to fuel harassment or spread hate towards anyone involved. I am doing what's listed above and posting this document in the same public setting the original documents were. If you have harassed anyone involved, in my defense, you are not my supporter. Your actions are reprehensible, and I've never advocated for anyone to do this for any reason. I'm sorry to anyone who's been affected by any actions of rogue community members against my principles. I have been made out to be a two-faced, greedy, jealous psychopath narcissist who's maliciously used, stalked, sabotaged, and betrayed those closest to me, and anyone around me, for my own gain for years, manipulating my way to the top like some kind of evil mastermind. You were lied to. There are things I've done wrong, but this image of me could not be further from reality. This was a complete public assassination of my character over what were lies and assumptions, followed by my cancellation and disappearance, with my accusers profiting from it. If I was really the awful person I was made out to be, then this document wouldn't exist. I wouldn't have any way to refute the claims made against me. I could have just continued streaming and profited from the drama and the over 30 million views this situation garnered. I could have let everyone forget about this and come back like nothing ever happened. But it's not true, and I couldn't allow myself to move on without making things right. Everything that's come out and stories that followed have been blown way out of proportion and turned into crazy conspiracies. Both Red and I have done wrong, and all of that will be addressed here. But the story everyone was told was not the reality of what happened. Every single person I've ever interacted with in the past almost 5 years, even those closest to me, and every single interaction with them would have to have been fake for the story told about me to be true. I believe that there were two people responsible for how things played out, with a third person merely having an axe to grind against me, someone they never liked. Nanolis lied overwhelmingly about what happened between her and Red, sat back and played everyone, including my friends. Shy Lily lied about me from the start, orchestrated things behind the scenes, and manipulated the public to their side. Silvervale took the opportunity to lie about our interactions together, making things even worse for me. They had the most to gain from my cancellation, including their own satisfaction. None of them could take accountability for their own actions and push it all onto me instead. The only two people that could disprove their lies were just made into lying manipulators and wiped off the internet. Aside from the labelled speculation, everything presented in this document is true to the best of mine and Red's knowledge. I have nothing to hide, and there isn't a reason to hide anything anymore. The bulk of what's shown here was over the past 2+ years. Keep in mind that no matter who you are, Opinions, thoughts, and feelings can change a lot over such a long period of time, for better or worse. I went back and forth on a lot of things to put in here, asking myself if I should leave them out for the people I still care for, or keep them in for my own sake. No matter what evidence is included in this document, it wouldn't be surprising if it's claimed that even with all of the evidence, all of this is just me trying to lie, manipulate, and gaslight my way out of what happened, and that no one should possibly believe me again. To show that I stand by everything written here and that I am sorry for the things I've done wrong, I've made a very hard decision. I'm giving up my part ownership position of Gamer Subs. I've worked so hard for them since December of 2022, and earning this position was one of the biggest accomplishments of my life. I'm honored they chose to give me the opportunity, and I've been immensely proud to have this title. As sad as I am to do this, I feel the need to protect the company I love, the people that work there, and everyone associated over my own interests. GamerSubs suffered a lot of damage when all of the accusations were made about me, and that fell on my shoulders. This is my responsibility as part owner, and I don't want any more harm or negativity to come to them by having this position. I didn't have to do this, and I wasn't asked, forced, or coerced into making this decision. There are things more important to me than business. I notified them of my decision in June, and I will take effect at the same time this document is published. Each tab in this document is about the people and events related to the claims they made against me, where I've provided links to each person's respective statements for reference, the evidence, context, and mine and Red's thoughts around each situation. You're intended to read each section and in the order they're presented. This document should be viewed in desktop and light mode for the formatting to appear correctly. Some information and screenshots appear in multiple sections for whoever it's relevant to. The first few sections being Nanolus, Bow, V-Card, and Numi's concert, and Shy Lily's culminate in a section breaking down what you've seen throughout them, with the last few sections of this document being a standalone. Unless stated otherwise, every link in this document is working at the time this is posted. This document will not be edited after it's posted either. Because we live in 2025, I need to say that this document was written without the use of AI. I understand some of the things in this document may be damaging to the people involved. They understood that their claims would be damaging to me before they publicly made them too. Everyone can review the evidence for themselves and decide what really happened, and if I really am the person you are led to believe me to be. The burden of proof is on the accuser, not the accused. Now, redacted. Well, I suppose yeah, that's the thing about this, is that there is a little. They weren't kidding when they say there's about 1,000 pages to this. So you know what? I suppose. Well, maybe in just some way we can actually. I mean, take a look at all this. By the way, look at all the. I mean, you guys can't see it right here, but it sort of goes on and it talks about. Well, we're gonna have to go through the redacted section shortly after this, but yeah. If you're willing to see whether or not, because we're going to be doing this for the next couple of days, and I'll just say for the record right now, as I am purpose to show whether or not in the following statements that Sinder has made as to whether or not actually she was completely in the right this whole time, and actually, to be honest, she's doubling down and saying that, well, quite frankly, all the people involved, they were just as much to blame, and actually I was far from the only guilty party. Whether or not this is the sort of thing people will buy and immediately roll out the red carpet for Cinder after this, whether or not any of that actually happens, we will wait to see about that. But I should perhaps, for the benefit of interest of fairness, to hint her, just yet, as to whether or not this really is going to save whatever Cinder's reputation she has left, or whether or not it's just accentuated something that a lot of people suspected for a very long time, or not. So I'll for the next couple of videos, I'll be calling this the trial of the people versus Cinder, and let the trial commence. But before we get to that, I ought to call a short recess, and I'll see all of you guys again next time, because the first body of evidence will be presented. So, all aboard!